Today's video is brought to you by Brilliant. More on that later.
Huh? Wow, this is a comfy bed. Fit for a king. Uh-oh. Furniture and buildings. That's the subject for this video. And boy, there is a lot of cool buildables for your pawns from Vanilla Expanded. From beds to turrets to Chem Fuel makers to even shield barriers. Pull out your wish list because you are gonna certainly find something here you will want to order for your base. Starting off, Vanilla Furniture Expanded. Yeah, the simple one that started it all, with a nice variety of furniture for all ages and eras. In the beginning, you can make a slab bed with no research, literally better than sleeping on the ground, but only by so much. The stone campfire, which gives you less heat and more light. It also lasts longer than a normal campfire. Finally, the sitting cushion, a simple bench-like furniture that can be cheaply made with just about any textile. Naturally, you will want to have better furniture, so research the basic furniture to gain a little bit more variety. Stuff like the simple bed, a good cheap bed that most pawns find comfortable. The bench, which is a stool that connects to one another, working to make for a cafeteria experience. The 1x1 table for smaller eating rooms or perhaps prison areas. And of course, the small shelf for small storage. All good basics to go with regular furniture. Moving on to the more complex furniture, you start to get the stuff that could be better than the base game. The dartboard is a better version of the horseshoes, and slightly trained shooting skills are faster than horseshoes. And the punching bag is a good solitary entertainment object which also trains melee skills. The countertop, which like the bench is a draggable, stackable furniture, though this one acting like a table. The weapon rack for a cool way to store your weaponry. Then of course, if you researched electricity, you can have the lamp end table, which is an end table that adds a bit of light. Duh, of course. And if you research artisan furniture, you get golden stuff fit for a king, or at least a minor noble, giving you a supply of a royal poster bed, dresser to go with that, end table, chairs in both regular and arm, and naturally, different sized tables. All to make your more greedy pawns more delighted to go back to their room and rest their heads. There is of course modern furniture. This is the good stuff that, while might cost you a bit more resources, do have value all around. The ergonomic beds and chair is very comfortable for pawns, giving them a far more pleasant experience. Relax. The modern lamp is a good replacement for normal lights due to not only using less power, but it won't short circuit in the rain. Though, for outdoor lights, try the outdoor street lamps, good looking and good brightness at night. The wardrobes give a slight boost to rest effectiveness to beds they attach, which does stack with all other bonuses. The file cabinet, which goes to research benches and gives a slight buff to research speed, obviously a cheap helpful solution. The piano, which adds a music joy, and pawns who play it get a bit of artistry training. Finally, the roulette table for entertainment and slight social skill training. Oh, and we have the waste disposal tech, giving you the small trash bin or the large dumpster. Extremely valuable since they give a small clean bonus. Oh yeah, and slowly auto clean filth around their area. Pretty awesome. Not enough to say never need a cleaner, but enough to give a smaller helping hand. There's also some electronics to play around with basic electronics. You get the industrial radio, which gives all pawns around it a +1 mood buff, which is just nice. Not the best, but sometimes every bit helps. You know what I mean?
Welcome to today's sponsor, Brilliant, who's here to teach you tips and tricks for life. Brilliant is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science interactively. Brilliant is fun and interactive with thousands of lessons and new ones added every month. Whatever your skill level, Brilliant customizes the content to fit your needs and lets you solve at your own pace. This month I learned about computer science. Using the course, I learned how to better understand how computer programs work and better understand the complexities of these systems. It's honestly really cool. What are you waiting for? Get started today for free for 30 days. And as an added bonus, the first 200 people to use my link below will get 20% off an annual plan by visiting brilliant.org/Noobert.
the old computer for fun, but also gives a slight boost to learning speed for a while after using it. Then the arcade cabinet, where pawns can cure their Pac-Man fever. Complex electronics, meanwhile, gives you the modern computer, which is a better version of the old computer, and the jukebox, which is a better old radio with a bigger radius and a +3 mood bonus, so now we can all have those old-timey saloons that we wanted forever. Though, what if you want to go even further beyond normal furniture? You want to feel like you are living in the future. Good news! Spacer furniture is what you need, and boy howdy, does it deliver. First off, spacer electronics is now a thing, and it delivers with the spacer lamp. One part nice light, another part temperature regulator, working to keep the temperature around the 60 to 70 degree range. Plus, it doesn't short circuit in the rain. Of course, for a better outdoor lamp, there is the solar lamp, a small lamp that during the day charges up power and at night uses it. Basically, this doesn't use any power. There is the interactive table, a great place to eat from because any pawn who eats using the table fulfills recreation. That is while this is powered, of course. If you have this mod, you also have the ability to make the ultra screen TV. No more paying super high prices, you can make it yourself. Isn't that nice? For furniture, the advanced double beds are super comfortable sleeping spots that give a good white noise. It's so comfortable that pawns after sleeping gain a refreshing sleep buff. Add on the illuminated end table and dresser and your pawns will feel refreshed every time they go to sleep. More so knowing they will be sitting on the advanced chairs during the day that give a 1.2 comfort level. Yeah, beyond 100%. The final furniture item is the repair shelf. Any weapon, clothing, or armor piece put onto this shelf will slowly be fixed. I recommend only allowing any objects with a damage between 0 and 99%, so pawns automatically put them into the shelves and then take them out when fixed. A good way to keep more exotic or expensive gear in good condition over time. I really do appreciate this kind of stuff. So how about medical help? After all, the Rim is a dangerous place, and people are gonna get hurt. You will, I will, that one crazy hobo who keeps stealing my corn definitely will. The medical module is a bit small, but certainly useful. First, the surgical table. It's not very good for trying to heal on, but for surgeries it is better than a normal bed. Good early on when you don't have hospital beds, though it does cause a hit to cleanliness. See, keep that in mind. Now, if you get into cryosleep technology, you can make the cryosleep suspender, which delays the wound degradation so pawns put in it don't bleed out, plus it helps speed up healing, though with a minor penalty similar to cryosleep sickness. You gotta keep that in mind. The intravenous drip stand is standard in all hospitals, giving it a boost to immunity gain speed. Just put one right next to a hospital bed and you will be grateful for that boost during flu season, trust me. What's not as standard is the Vitals Control Center, giving a small boost to immunity gain, surgery success chance, and medical 10 quality, just like a vitals monitor. Now, if you want to research all this and more, remember to make the research counters, which adds a cleanliness bonus, which, yes, do help with research speed, of course, and a base research speed boost up to 20 counters to one research bench. It's nuts. It's wild. You guys got to do it. Stack that with the sterile wall, which looks nice and adds more cleanliness. Your hospitals and research rooms will be more efficient. Yes, they will. It'll be kind of broken, but it'll be neat. Security is next up, and we all know how important it is to keep your pawns and your corn vault safe from the marauders that aim to wreck us all. So, what do we get in this module? Well, starting off, we have cavalry spikes that do small damage to anyone who walks over them. Simple to start with, but we can do better. To get medieval on some raiders, ballistas and catapults, one uses wood, the other uses stone. Both are inaccurate, but if they hit, they are gonna have a bad time. Same if they step on a bear trap. An upgrade of the normal spike trap causes you can re-arm them without having to reconstruct it. Though keep in mind, too big of a target, the trap will break and you'll need to make a new track. Basic turrets get some much needed support. The military turret is a double-barreled mini turret, though like the regular one, it will explode if it's damaged. So keep that in mind. The searchlight turret is a pure support, shining a bright light on targets, dazzling them. And the flame turret is a Chem Fuel powered engine of death and destruction, possible on your own side since they are more likely to explode in a huge fireball. Still, awesome fun to see enemies set ablaze. Though we also have World War I trench warfare to work with. Starting with proper trenches, getting in and out of it is very slow, but pawns within the trench get a huge penalty to firing range, but a huge cover. You also get barbed wire, designed to slow down anyone going through it and doing a bit of slashing and puncture damage on the side. Though if you want someone more range, get a pawn onto a platform. More range, but for less cover due to being exposed. You know what I mean? The HMG complex goes great with the sandbags, a turret that has to be mounted by pawns, but come on, that's a cool looking gun nest. Why wouldn't you want that? Though maybe set up some decoys near the nest so that pawns won't immediately get sniped. Keeping with the old World War theme, the artillery cannon is more than a mortar replacement. Yes, it does do that job, but what it can really do is lay down a long-range beatdown to another settlement. That's right, you can bombard them with shells, and depending on the size of the shell, you have a chance to wipe them all out. Though there's a catch, aside from tribals, every settlement has a chance to retaliate and bombard you, so keep that in mind if you aim to deliver a message to your neighbors via explosives. The sentry gun is a portable turret. It doesn't need its own power source, though it will need to be refilled with steel. Barring that little issue, it's great for bringing on missions if you feel you need a little more firepower. The ammo crate is a storage furniture for shells, but it also increases the fire rate of pawns around it. Good, though hopefully nothing goes wrong like the shells going up in flames. Floor turrets and deployable cover act in the same way with no power. They become the floor and take half damage during that time. When powered, they come up and do what they can, a bit gimmicky but pretty cool. The double autocannon is, well, a two-barreled autocannon. Double the barrel, double the DACA. Can't fire at close range and has a chance to explode. The charge complex is a charge rifle cannon built on a barrier like the HMG nest. It has to be mounted by a pawn, but it's a pretty good defensive option. Charge turrets are basically auto-firing charge rifles. They use plasteel to reload them, but it's worth it when they have good power. Though, for stopping power, look no further than the railgun. Long-range, high damage, apparently used on ships for ship-to-ship combat. You need components to recharge them, but dang is it worth it. Perfect for mechanoid raids, really just perfect. Well, that and the EMP cannon, which as the name suggests, fires electromagnetic pulse shots. Obviously, anti-shield and mech, you know what I mean? Speaking of shields, you have power shields in both small and large designs to block all projectiles, though at the cost of high power consumption. Unless you're lucky to find an Archotech shield generator, a quest reward item that uses no power, small shield yes, but perfect for keeping pawns safe in a choke point. Farming. So while people go out and fight for their lives, people are gonna need to farm for the food for them when they get back. The farming module has your back for this. Starting off, planter boxes in both preset and tillable. A simple planter box of soil that has no fertility bonus or downsides. Think of this as a non-powered hydroponics. Great when starting out in environments with not enough good soil. Then there's tillable hydroponics. If you want to be able to use every square inch of a room for planting, though the king of the planter boxes has to be the artificial ecosystem in both a square and tillable. These act like proper fertile soil and have the ability to plant trees, and Devil's Duran comes with its own sun lamp too. Though all this comes at a high power cost, and if that power goes out, the plants will die fast. And I don't just mean kind of fast, I mean they're fast. You also get a scarecrow, which scares off smaller animals in a radius so they don't mess with your outdoor fields. And sprinklers, which enhance growth rates of all plants in its radius. A small but simple mod pack, it ain't much, but hey, it's honest work. Speaking of that, rest in peace, David Brandt, you will be missed. For the industrial side of Rimworld, we have the production module, providing a few extras when it comes to crafting, creation, cooking, and other cool constructions. First up are multiple different cabinets to attach to their respective crafting buildings. One for machining tables, drug labs, smithing, fabrication, and tailoring. They threw in everything but the kitchen sink. Wait, no, they have that too. All 6 of them each add 10% more work speed to their station, and you can stack up to 2. So yeah, 20% work speed bonuses. It's pretty solid. There's the assembly bench, which is a smaller fabrication bench designed only for component making. You don't ask to use, but sometimes you just want a small spot devoted to crafting components and free up work at the fabrication bench for other tasks. Then we got the electric butcher table, drug lab, and stone cutting table, powered versions of the same workstations that work 50% faster than their non-powered counterparts. For lower tech opinions, the fueled smelter letting you use wood to smelt up your metal things. Okay, finally the large workstations, large machine benches, smithy, tailoring bench, stove take up the space of a fabrication bench, but with a 50% speed boost, it might be worth it. Might be. Also, a note, with the large stove, it also allows for batch meals, so keep that in mind. All in all, great additions for industrial parts of the base. Highly recommended. So, some of you might look at all this and think to yourself, wait, why are my colonists unhappy? Might be because they don't have cool art in their lives. Don't worry about it. The art module has you covered for all sorts of art. Starting off, pottery, small and simple. It isn't the most beautiful, but it is easy to make and can even be crafted at crafting spots, so good for early game art needs. If you go up to carvings, you get small waist-high carving arts, a little more fancy but still pretty cheap, though you can also carve a larger leaf which doubles as a wall, great for holding up rooms and keeping pawns a little happy with more beauty. Though you can always make the 1x1 pillars if you want roof raising art with a space budget. Obelisks are beautiful long carved art pieces, great for adorning outdoor areas or perhaps your place of worship. The Egyptians definitely were onto something when they invented these works of art. If you research artful displays, you can make plinths, little spots to display items. Good if you have a rare item you want to show off. Items put it also won't degrade if it's outside. You also can make decorative plant pots. They act like regular plant pots but with far more beauty. Obviously useful for bedrooms or perhaps work areas you want to look just a tad bit nicer. Statues are the next thing on our list, and they come in a small, large, and grand. Good bit of variety to mix up normal art pieces, of course, especially the grand ones. Monuments are huge. They require a lot of resources and time to make, but if you got the place and have items that are some of the more beautiful pieces of art, but wait, there's more. You can sew up at tailoring benches, rugs that can be put down whenever you want them. Perhaps for smaller rooms that might not have a lot of space for a statue. There are wallpapered walls, acting like wooden walls, but also using fabric to add beauty to that room. I recommend a nice purple, tiny room from Classical, but hey, do what you want. Use human leather if you want. Holograms are built in fabrication benches and act as a high-quality art piece, provided it's all plugged in, of course. Finally, the Archotech sculpture is a wonderful quest-only reward item. Putting it down not only gives a high beauty, but gives a mood buff to all pawns within its radius, which stacks with the Psychic Emanator. So with all this new tech and such, you are gonna need a huge supply of power. Once again, we got a module for it. The power module, providing plentiful power purveyors. First off, the portable generators, smaller variants of the wood and Chem Fuel powered generators, less useful for powering up a base, but since they can be minified, good for road trips with some turrets. For bigger variants, the industrial wood fire and Chem Fuel generators take up more space, but provide more power than their normal variants. There is the tidal generator, which, when placed on shallow water, provides a good source of power, obviously useful if you are on a shore. I've used this in a number of playthroughs. Then of course we got nuclear power, because of course we do out on the rim naturally using uranium. This machine provides a lot of power, though you could always overload it, forcing even more power at the cost of causing a bit of toxic buildup around yourself. It also consumes 2 uranium a day and will build up a lot of heat. I don't need to explain why you should let it overheat, but if you do let it go all full Chernobyl, you will be punished with a loss of all the fuel and a long-lasting toxic fallout. There are also new batteries. The small and large batteries hold more and less charges depending on their size, obviously, acting like base game battery banks. There are more advanced batteries, which not only hold more power than normal batteries, but also don't short circuit in the rain. Very useful. Speaking of advanced, there are are advanced variants of generators which naturally surpass normal base game ones. We have the advanced wind turbines, solar generators, water mill, and of course geothermal plants. All great additions to any base, and if you can, you should replace the old variants with them, especially the geothermal plants. Finally, found as quest rewards, the small and large vanometric power cells to act like variants of the vanometric power cell. While on the subject for power, how about an alternative source of fuel? Chem Fuel. So how do you work with this? First, you need to start scanning, looking for deep chem. Once you got that done, you put in the deep chem pump jack. If you don't hook it up to some chem fuel, piping it will drop off all the deep chem near it. So what is deep chem? Well, think of it as crude oil, more volatile than normal chem fuel. You can convert deep chem to chem fuel through a recipe in the biofuel refinery, but you can be a little more efficient. You can pipe the deep chem into a refinery every 5 seconds, turning 1 deep chem into 3 chem fuel, as opposed to the biofuel refinery recipe of 35 deep chem to 70 biofuel, so 1 to 3 versus 1 to 2. From there, you can decide how to pump the chem fuel. Move it to the tanks and drains so you can collect the fuel for use, or perhaps pipe directly into chem fuel generators. Never need to lift a hand and move the chem fuel directly in. A simple mod that, while not as advanced as say Rimworld, does a good job in making a vanilla chem fueled experience. For another alternative fuel source, Helix Gas is also a good choice. Originally, from the power module, it was removed so they can expand on it. Starting off with this mod, you will have 1 infinite pocket of gas. This way, you can rush the gas research to take advantage of it. Though, keep in mind, it's a small pocket, kind of like a vanometric power cell, giving a constant unit of power. This gives a constant unit of gas. If you scan, you can find another temporary pocket of gas to add to your network, so don't worry if you want to get more. So, why use this gas and not chem fuel? Well, for starters, all Helix Gas devices do not use power, meaning if there is a solar flare, you aren't going to suffer for it. So what can you use for gas for? Well, for starters, generators in regular and industrial sized, obviously, there would be a way to make power from them. For other needs, you got gas-powered cremators and smelters, a powered stove. I suppose Hank Hill would be proud to know we have a clean-burning gas for cooking. Gas-powered coolers and heaters. Best part about the coolers, they don't expel any heat in any direction, so indoor freezers are a little easier to make without having to worry about where the heat has to go. Sun lamps are also buildable, a possible cheaper way to make your greenhouse depending on how you use your gas. Gas-powered smithies are also the thing, harnessing the power of natural gases to forge blades. Yeah, sounds about right. Lights are also included, ranging from floor and wall lamps. Biofuel refineries get a variant where you could ironically make chem fuel while being powered by gas. And of course, gas-powered pod launchers. Honestly, a pretty cool alternative. Gas is a cool concept for a power source, and whether you use it to fully enhance your base or just a few key buildings, you can't deny the ability to stick to Tyranny, and his solar flares is great. This next one, my friend Bren was really happy for, and he uses it all the time. Nutrient paste expanded. Utilizing the pipe network in the vanilla expanded code, you can now pipe paste all over your base. So, starting off, you have the grinder, the main key to the system. It works like the base game, paste dispenser, and how you need to set hoppers around it, though now you can set up a pipe network to hook it to a paste vat. This vat will store up to 75 meals within any network it's connected to. It also is affected by the temperature, so try and keep it somewhere cold. After that, just make sure the network is connected to a dispenser. I recommend the new 3x1 paste tap, which, like the original, acts like a wall and temperature separator. Yeah, obviously useful since I tell people that paste, while it makes pawns unhappy unless I have the transhumanist meme, prevents the food poisoning, which is far worse than a minor mood debuff. So other things you could hook this to, well, given you can now pipe everything through the walls, making a prison setup is far easier without having to make a specialized paste area. Just make a tap and put it on the wall, and hook it to the pipes. Or better yet, use the new paste feeder to automatically drop off a meal for people to take. Also good for animal barns, since most animals can eat paste. You also could use the new paste dripper. It's similar to the sleep accelerator. You put it on the head of the bed, and any pawn who sleeps in the bed is force-fed the paste. Good for hospitals or prisons. Finally, a bit of word. Keep in mind what you put into the grinder. The vat will have a memory of every food unit put in. So if human meat or fungus goes into the vat and the whole network will, for all purposes, be a meal of that. If something like this happens, you can always drain the system through discards the whole meal. And of course, this is compatible with other systems like the biotech growth vats, the sanguiphages, expanded drain casket, and plenty of mods that have support. So yeah, highly recommended for any playthrough, if you ask me. The architect module adds more structure choices to Rimworld ones I feel are great additions in any play. First off, more bridge choices. Stone and steel bridges are now a thing, and like normal bridges, lets you go over the water, no problem. Unlike normal wooden bridges, however, these ones can support heavyweight, like walls and so on. Yeah, gonna make swamp playthroughs so much easier when you can now build over those annoying marshes. You also can make proper foundation, which helps in desert and swampy areas. Stuff like mud and quicksand, which normally slow down pawns and prevent building. Think of them like bridges on land, and yes, essentially for some biome playthroughs. For more flooring options, outdoors you can make asphalt, a cheap but decent flooring if you want a speedy walk. Same with broken asphalt if you want to mix up the look. Packed dirt is also a cheap solution. That's one of my favorites for outdoors, just packing up the ground to make it easier to walk in. Or maybe you want to make a cheap fire break since no plants grow on packed dirt. Packed dirt's just awesome. You guys should be using packed dirt all the time. You can also make nice, simple, grassy looking flooring for outside. Pretty easy to make indeed. Though the lawn is the grass cooler cousin, a lot of hard work, but when you finish it, your neighbors will also be jealous of your lawn. They won't realize it was a distraction from the many turrets gunning them down. So, nice stuff. Indoor flooring has a lot of cool options. The lovely wooden parquet is great for dining rooms, even if it takes a bit of time to make. Cobblestone flooring is a cheaper and easier alternative to normal stone tiles, but lacks the beauty. Polished stone floors are higher quality stone tiling with a lot of time to put down, with some slab floors being very beautiful, just as time consuming. If you want alternative carpets, woolly carpets take a little more time to put down, but it's worth it for how warm and cozy they look. It really looks pretty. Take a look. Fine metal tiles and wood flooring are extremely expensive, but actually fulfill royal requirements for fine floors, so keep that in mind if you have royal guests. It is a good floor to build with. And this mod also provides new carpet colors to play around with and differentiate everything. On top of that, new wood types when constructing any wooden structure. Yeah, that's right. You can now have mahogany doors, desks, and highly flammable walls. What else could be better? Yeah, the highly flammable walls, including log walls for that rustic feel that pawns like when they aren't baked alive, and fine walls, which can be made of more than wood. And while the fine flooring, they do appeal to royals and add a decent amount of beauty to a room, single doors if you want to have that rather than the Rimworld double doors, armored walls and doors are durable, blast-resistant structures that also don't take a lot of damage from branches. Sure, it slows to go through the doors, but when you got a bunch of angry tribals who want your corn, you will be glad to have these. Same with the hedges. Who doesn't want a cool hedge maze? I mean, a lot of people, but come on, it's here. Goes good with the lawn. Then there are the jail cell walls and doors. Not only does it look good for prisons, but it also has the unique effect of prisoners being unable to attack the wall and door. Granted, they can still do a prison break, but your nice walls you put them in won't be damaged at least. They are also plenty of fences for your animal prisons to play with. Chain link fences are a classic looking style, the picket fence for that suburb feeling, the low to the ground fence, the brickwork fence if that's your style. They also include an animal gate that animals can use to go back and forth. Yeah, this module provides a lot of good building options, useful and good looking, and all around a good addition to Rimworld. Finally, props and decor. The last of the buildings modules, and this one didn't need to be made, but I'm glad it did, because wow, does it look good. You guys, props. Let you make a filthy hospital-looking area without actually affecting the cleanliness. Good for scaring the prisoners who are next to donate their organs. Now, if you are role-playing in earlier eras, try the medieval props, adding many cool-looking decorations to spice up your castle or your medieval village. Same with farm props. Make your outdoor farms look more rustic. I do like symbol and word decals, actually kind of useful if you want to make certain areas to see rooms used at a glance, or if you are let's people see what you are going for hidden messages. Industrial props are cool looking mid-era Rimworld props, giving you stuff like garbage to be taken out, crates to be delivered, or perhaps shelves and lockers or piles of supplies. Actually good for making the base feel a little more lived in, like your pawns were when they were there for a while, you know? Alright, jokes aside, going with the industrial props are power-looking props kind of sad. They don't give out any juice because some of this stuff does look pretty good, and my base could always use more power. Anyways, kitchen props adds new stuff that chefs will love, including a mop. Just a shame that can't be used to clean because someone decided to make a mess in the kitchen. There's normal furniture props that give you a variety of shelves, desks, dividers, and more to add on to the rest of your furniture. Hope your rooms can fit it all in. Vehicle props are literal, unusable vehicles that look good on asphalt near some storage crates. Like your pawns, use them for milk runs. Space props add a bunch of sci-fi inspired furniture to really make your base look more high-tech, and totally not full of brain-dead idiots who get drunk and punch an insectoid. And of course, spaceship props, like the vehicles, unusable spaceship-looking props that look good parked near your drop pod loading area. All in all, I like the props even if there is no use. I do like them for how they can pretty up a base and let you add a little more personality to your home. Yeah, all these buildables were pretty good. I certainly hope Oscar and his team and even more buildables and so on. Maybe add on the older modules, give us more cool toys to play with. Anywho, I'd like to thank everybody that supported us and helped us make this video. We couldn't do it without all the people that donate. If you are interested in getting all of our videos for early access and whatever that nonsense, it's $12 a year. You won't have to see no more ads. You get to see the videos early, and you get a special chat room on Discord. That's about all I can offer to ask for your help. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.